I'm a big t-shirt wearer because I get sunburned so bad that I wear t-shirts in the pool. And because I just am
In the
a
pool.
pasty little kid.
Yeah, that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Sunburns.
I'm just kidding. I don't wear t-shirts in the pool.
I don't wear t-shirts, period. This is a gown.
I've done it once or twice. And now I'm like a fucking eco-terrorist with it. Just like letting them shine. Look at me!
Hell yeah. That's the way to do it, though. Once the shirt comes off, the shirt comes off.
I'm in the pool! You're in the pool with me!
I'm not in the pool with you!
You're in the pool with me! Behold!
Terrorist.
My powers of water displacement!
Capybara with lemons. Relaxing. Hydrated.
Well, hi, everybody. How's it going? A big thank you to DC Peptide Dimer and Uncle Brenner for the resub. 32 months for 24 months. That's
shit.
insane. You guys rule. The hype train is close. So do with that what you will.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends that a hype train approacheth.
Get on the horn. You gotta get over here. The hype
Imagine if
train,
your friend
you hear
called
that?
you and told you that there was a hype train.
There's a hype train. We need you.
I bet that happens.
Get in
Click.
here.
Someone call Jeff Tice.
Jeffrey Tice, you out there?
Welcome back, everybody. It's Moon Day. It's episode
Yeah.
6 of Arc 5 of Better Than Heroes. If you're new to our stream, welcome. Hopefully you enjoyed the intimate meeting of all of our members. I'm Rachel Weeks, and I play Klik, the level 13 Kreen fighter.
I'm Major Ovredahl, and I play Flute, a.k.a. the Windrider, a human bard warlock.
I'm Jordan Dahl, and I play the Moonboy, a level 13 Moonboy.
My name is Aaron Urist, and I play K.A.I. Hammerstein, the Artificer.
I'm Harlan Kelly. I'm the dungeon master of this game, and I play everybody else.
Nice.
The dragons,
Clean.
the Gith, the dwarf,
Yeah.
Keep listing.
different
We've
dragon.
got
magic
more.
chair, the other dwarf, the halfling.
So much stuff is going on.
So much stuff's going on.
In just a few minutes, we're going to play some 5e Spelljammer D&D. Our show is live soundtrack by the wonderful Jason Wardell. You can hear him. You can hear him go.
Listen to those dulcet tones.
And it is brought to you by our patrons and our subscribers. So to all of you who are patrons or subscribers or you've bought merch, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for supporting this show. You guys make this show literally possible. You allow us to pay all of the artists that make this show and this stream so fun, and you help us cover the costs of making the stream better and better every week. So if you love the show and want to see it grow, if you want to see some new stuff happen, consider, there's an anonymous gifter. Giving it to Will Potter. Thank you, anonymous gifter. You have
Anonymous gifter.
brought a train.
Oh, the train is here.
Yeah, the train is here.
Train is upon us. Everybody get out of the stream.
Fine, let me call my friends. Jesus Christ.
Andrew, what's wrong?
Hey,
is, it okay?
Dad?
Is everything okay?
Yeah, exactly. You get a
4
phone call
o'clock
from
in the
me.
goddamn
you
morning.
think it's a problem. Well, everything's fine. There's just a hype train on Twitch.
It's good. It's
Don't know
good.
what
It's
that
good. It's good.
means.
Anyway, you're supporting the show just by being here tonight. We really appreciate it. And all of you, the train conductors, the train riders, all of you.
Trainees?
The trainees, the trainers,
Trainists.
the trainists. Yeah.
Trainsters.
All right. You're the best. Thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate it. You can support the show by following us also for free. You can do that on YouTube or on Instagram or on Twitter. All of those help make the show more successful. It is also available as a podcast. You could follow it on those places as well and just listen to us without having to see us in our t-shirts in the pool. We appreciate everything that you do. All right, well, let's play some D&D. But first, let's find out what happened last week in last week's recap.
Oh my god.
It's happening.
Previously on Better Than Heroes, afloat in the astral sea while attempting to extricate their friend Malzor from the Azure Forge's foyer, the party had come under attack by a gargantuan astral dreadnought. Despite its size, the crew cracked the monstrosity open like a Kinder Egg, and lo, it did explode and gave forth its prizes. Boffed into the astral plane from a demi-plane within the Leviathan's giant stomach came a crew of grumpy Githyanki, their leader, Commander Vestra, a honey-moss dwarf, a chained-up red dragon, and a gregarious skeleton who Klik immediately yeeted into space. The dragon, Zuthuk-Turakignus, fucking nailed it. One of their allies had grown to hate and resent the Githyanki while stuck in the astral dreadnought's stomach for eons, and the Gith hated him right back, which is why they chained him up pending execution. The dragon wanted to be freed and granted exclusive rights to devouring the Githyanki. The crew of Gith wanted passage back to the Undying Queen, a service for which they promised the party would be greatly rewarded. Yep. The rider was able to retrieve Malzor from the forge at Flute's behest, and he and Moonboy set about preparing Goat, the Dinger's deceased bosun, for reincarnation in an objectively disturbing ritual. Unsure how to juggle the Gith's strongly worded request for passage to the evil Queen of Death, along with the other 1 million things they needed to do, the crew considered how best to proceed. Moonboy's hat was on the verge of bursting with critters. The Dinger was still badly damaged. The crew needed to find a way back to wild space. Oliphanticulus had just woken up. Janus was sitting on the Skull Goblin throne, and the universe was at war, to name but a few of the party's pressing problems. Also, since his recent real boyification, Dingham Nidris has a hot new body, which nobody had the space to unpack at the moment. Will these Gith attack us if we don't give them a ride? Will I have a chance to talk to my dad before we all die? Why does everyone in the universe need our help all at the same time? Find out right now on Better Than Heroes.
Oh my god.
A+.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is no ethical consumerism, famously. Tick my talk, Daddy.
Certainly not the way I
worse
do it.
than other things.
Tick my talk, Daddy-o.
He gets
you need
paid
some
a lot.
All the
for
kids
saying
are
that.
doing it. All the kids are ticking talks.
Funnily enough, you can't show that on TikTok.
That's true.
Be banned for life.
So, you all are on the deck here. Most of you. Except for, with this, which I said an abstract number last time, and I'm just going to officially declare that there are 22 Githyanki and the captain on board. So that's 23 altogether.
Yikes.
Did you roll
like
for that, or was
that's
that
like 10
completely
fewer.
arbitrary?
I'll take it.
It's based off of some crew numbers from old manuals of how many people it used to take to run this ship.
Roll
It's
a
actually
dice
the crew
for it.
of
This
the-
is Harlan Kelly you're talking to.
I'm
Greek
annoying.
soldiers used to stand
their
inside
names?
of the
No, just
boat with.
There's a guy on a Reddit
What are their
somewhere
names?
seeing
Harlan's
the
like,
number of
let
the
me
crew.
refer to my chart.
My God, they did it.
Yeah, definitely
The
not
crew of the
doing that
ballerina.
right now. Yeah, you hear Commander Vestra go, Quamoth, Lath, pay attention, like kind of signaling to two of them as they nod at him. And that was just me flexing two names. And if you want me to do roll call later, I can't. But
flex recognized. The court recognizes the flex. That's the joke.
Particularly good.
And you all see, everybody except for Moonboy of the crew is on deck here. Even Relic, the halfling. Relic is back on the dinger, which is being towed behind the Elvish impersonator, which is Klik's ship, which most of this group is primarily on. The tied up dragon, these get. And running up to the, you see this tiny little creature leap from the dinger over to the Elfish impersonator, and you see Malzor just running up to you, K.A.I, and Klik, who you all have next to you, this small dwarf who has this big bushy beard and is wrapped in this green growth that looks like honeysuckle and these kind of like robes that look like spider webs sewn together. And Malzor runs up to them and just stands in front of them and says, Osutra. And it looks back at him and goes, Ovredahl? And they like look confused at each other. And Malzor looks up at you, K.A.I and Klik, and says, is this really a honey moss dwarf?
Yeah, they were in like a demi-plane for, I think, a super long time, probably. They were inside of a big demi-plane inside a big mountain. Not important. Yes. Mm-hmm.
He nods. He kind of like does this small bow to the honey moss dwarf, and the honey moss dwarf looks confused and says something kind of like back to him. And K.A.I, you can kind of make this out as well, just a little bit, as he says, he asks him where he's from, and Malzor looks back at him and kind of just like stumbles with it a little bit and is like trying, but he looks back at you and he says, I've only ever seen this written down. And he says something, and you can see the honey moss dwarf perk up a little bit, and he's like, Ovredahl, and like walks up to him, and Malzor like looks worried, and he says, he wants me to kill him.
Right, yeah,
don't kill him.
He was talking about that.
Definitely mention that.
I was hoping that you would be able to cheer him up, and he would kind of get past that.
Malzor looks and he's like, it makes sense if he's already gone through the cocooning process and he expected it to be liquefied, but was swallowed before it. He must have been buried alive in some way and then been preserved by the astral plane. He says, we got to liquefy him. I want to talk to him. He's like kind of debating with himself, and Malzor, this like stinky little halfling hippie, is looks distressed.
Perhaps we can talk to him a little bit before we liquefy him. But this would be like doing a nice thing for him. It's not just an assisted suicide situation where he doesn't want to be alive anymore. He's like begun the process.
No, I mean, he was clearly, exactly. He clearly must have been at the end of his life, and then people must have, the other honey moss dwarves must have assumed he was dead and buried him in the, in the cocoon. But he must not have been.
He must have been in. Yes, that's terrible. We were all concerned when he started asking for people to kill him.
Malzor's like, you don't understand. He can tell us so much. I've worked so hard. I risked my life. You all, the only reason I'm alive is because you all saved me. I thought I was totally screwed.
That's true.
To try and find information that he just holds bountifully in his heart, he says, like kind of grabbing your little his legs with his little hands.
Easy. Well,
Moonboy's gonna come up from the bowels of the ship at this point. He's like, "What's up? You guys talking about liquefying dudes?"
Yeah, Malzor's having a bit of a trolley problem here.
Oh, he's off his trolley.
Well, could you, like, just talk to him a little bit and take some notes and then liquefy?
Yeah. I mean,
Can we do that here?
I don't know if I
have
would
to
be.
take
Yeah,
him
we've got a bunch of lie down in the basement right now. We could liquefy
that
him.
is.
There's no way this is. I mean, we're just gonna kill this guy.
Well, I mean, he seems to. I mean, if he
I don't
wants
know
it,
if
right?
it's- I don't know if it's just killing the guy based on.
It's like a religious thing,
Malzor's
right?
saying. Yeah, we're going to ritually kill him.
Right, and it's a ritual killing Klik.
Right. It's not. It's not bad. Like ritual dismemberment.
I mean, we kill people on the reg, people who don't want to die, and this guy wants it.
But maybe he's got like a life to live after this. You know,
not-
maybe he's.
But Malzor is giving us a little bit of context here.
I understand the context, but this still, you know, maybe he could find a nice apartment somewhere. Maybe there's like
It doesn't have to be like this.
meet a nice partner. I don't know.
This is the guy you pick?
Maybe. All right.
I mean, if he wants to
All
die,
right.
then you kill him. I don't. That just doesn't sit right with me.
Oh, I understand.
she's
That's fair.
right. We're not.
It's
We're,
totally
we're,
understandable.
we're not heroes, but we're not executioners.
That's right.
But I do have a bunch of lie left over from the doing from the
I don't know.
spell.
If it's
for-
important to Malzor, let Malzor do it.
Yeah.
Right. Malzor,
Also, what do
if you
you
want
think?
to talk to this guy, do you need help for that? Because we got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I got
if
a
you
list.
could take this off our plate,
Is-
that would be so great.
Klik holds up a list.
All I need,
Dum, dum, dum.
I think I can talk to him enough to make him feel comfortable and explain to him what's happening. Kind of like, you know, he must have been locked in there for like tens of thousands of years, maybe. Like,
Oh, that long.
it may be
Oh.
like, and so
That's not fun.
easily. So, like, I'm sure he has a lot to unpack, and I maybe can help him like get more comfortable here and explain some things to him, and maybe I can learn from him in the process. And I bet he would like the cocoon downstairs too. I could show him that.
Commander Vestra.
Show him the cocoon.
I will
Show
ask
him the cocoon.
Githyanki.
Don't let him mess with it, and don't mess with it.
Commander
Nobody mess with
Vestra, was this guy, pointing at the honey moss dwarf, was this individual in there, inside the place in your time prison when you got there? Was he already there?
Yes, he was. Yes, that is correct.
Wow.
Sorry, little guy. That is terrible.
He, none of us have been able to communicate with him that well, but we kind of like get along and have been able to simply communicate. Yes.
Probably for the best. I think you guys probably would have obliged his request.
Well, yes, yeah. Roll an
Yeah.
insight check, Kai.
You would have done it. Insight check. 19.
Ooh.
Commander Vestra is nervous about indicating too much about him. He seems slightly afraid of
Of the dwarf?
the dwarf.
Why, did something happen?
He's like, what are you talking about? No, he's just a weird little dude.
You're just like, your whole demeanor kind of changed. That's all.
I mean,
So it seemed like,
it's terrifying to think about being locked in there for as longer than us.
right?
He nods.
Well, thank goodness we came along, huh?
Yes, exactly, he says. Commander Vestra says, exactly, thank you.
You would have been, who knows how long in there. And, just something to consider going forward.
Malzor yells out, their name is Arigula. Arigula.
Regular,
As
like,
they're like walking away and like trying to communicate.
It's
slowly.
arugula.
right. In the gnome, in the moon gnomish language, it is arugula. It's the same root.
My DM notes do keep trying to autocorrect it to that. That is correct.
Should have known you were in trouble then.
Yeah, but this big tall like spike-shouldered Gith Captain Commander Vestra steps up to you and he kind of like looks at you, Klik, and K.A.I, and he says, "So, you can take us, yes, to the Undying Queen. Me and my platoon."
What's he saying?
He wants to know if he's pressing the issue. He wants to know if we're going to take him and his friends to the Undying Queen. I think we Commander, we have to talk amongst ourselves to figure out how best to proceed, how best.
Wow, Aaron, Jesus
Christ. You can see I'm looking at like this like bare chest to his armor. He's got like big Gith pecs.
100%. George,
just take
notes
K.A.I by the arm. Take K.A.I by the arm and kind of steer him away.
Yeah.
Going to figure out the breast way tits forward.
K.A.I, are you okay?
Just the armor.
Never been horny before.
Did anybody put nipples on armor? I thought that was a weird.
Just for the fun
Joel
of it,
Schumacher gift.
we're like canonically establishing that all of these
reads as horniness.
Wearing nipple armor.
All of the Gith are in like old school like fantasy, how they always put like women in these like.
It's exactly what I'm envisioning. It's like that on this guy.
Battle bikinis.
Battle bikinis. They're all in battle bikinis.
He's definitely wearing. His armor is a 2-piece for sure.
Yeah. You know, the most important parts.
Yeah. I've just never seen such sexualized armor before.
Oh my
God! A lot of sort of Boba Fett stuff going on in wild space in the sky.
I'm gonna kind of lean into the squad and be like, "That guy's not telling the full truth, I think."
Yeah, something's.
I think we should dump them and the dragon in the Azure Forge and be done with them.
Yeah,
and then they could be Mir's problem.
I mean, we could make
be each other's problem.
We could trick them, make them think that it's a great idea, or maybe even their idea, to go into the Azure Forge.
All right.
Maybe we could tell them it's a great conquest or something. What do they love?
Tell them it's a shortcut to the material plane.
My biggest problem with that is that
there are mind flayers in there.
He's kind of a great conquest.
Well, yeah, but fuck that dude.
I know. Hopefully he's already dead.
His math dungeon. Do you remember that math dungeon? Man, we were in there.
They're never going to get through that dungeon. If you recall,
I killed the last one we found by hitting its head against the ground a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
I wasn't a fan. I just. No, you're right. It's
what
far
if they
down
get a
the list
hold
of concerns.
Some sort of advanced Mia tech.
That would be my concern. It occurs to me that we know almost nothing about the Undying Queen, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what if we just play along?
Play along a little? Or, like, talk to them?
Up until when? That we deliver them to the Queen?
Until all our problems go away on their own, Flute.
I steer your head. You're looking back over at the chest, and I rotate. I rotate your head back over.
Focus.
Doing a diagram. You think I could pull that off?
No, K.A.I. None of us want that, K.A.I.
K.A.I.'s trying to design his own armor.
He's like reconfiguring his body as we're watching.
Just like two little screws
like
just go.
Up my waist. No. It's a phase, and it lasts about 30 seconds. But I go through it earnestly and honestly, and I come out the other side a better, not person, but something.
Part of
Maybe we
experimenting
could,
is figuring out what you don't want, you know?
There's a
Maybe
lot
we
of
could
gifts for us to fight on a boat if they decide to try to take over the boat.
We're at a numbers disadvantage for sure.
I mean, I could.
And what do we
cast-
do with the
I
dragon?
think we'll be fine. We just took down an astral dreadnought. All right, we could play along for a second.
Right.
Figure out what's happening.
Captain, Commander, not Captain. I'm curious about your queen and her realm.
Yes.
What sort of a kingdom does she keep?
We live on top of an ancient dead god.
We should go there. We should go to that.
He says they live on top of an ancient dead. You got it. And? Or is that kind
Any
of it?
specific god, or?
Does
Yeah,
this
which
sound
one?
like? Can I do
Any
like a
thought I would
history
know?
roll?
Absolutely, yeah. You can.
I've sailed a little bit.
Yeah, Flute. You can do a history roll, and K.A.I, you can do one too.
I got a natural 20,
Nice.
so 23.
Crunch turn.
Right.
18.
And 23 and 18. Wow, Flute outrolled K.A.I. Stop the presses, everybody. Twitch,
That's it.
clip
I'm
it.
retiring.
This is
It was
the
great
time.
playing with everybody.
Oh, wow.
Great
This
meeting
is that
everyone.
book.
I'll see you guys later.
This is the book you read.
Clip it. Somebody clip it just for the museum.
No.
Wow. On a history roll too, which is
want those
very
tapes.
unlikely.
Yeah. Flute.
This does sound like something that Flute would have heard like a song about, or at the very minimum.
Yeah. So yeah, let's. I would love for some flavor if you want to add to this, but you can kind of say this is something that it's always been treated as a legend to you a little bit too, because these are. It feels like something that has been trumped up over time, something that has. The story's been told, and you can kind of pick it apart in your mind as like, sure, there might be some truth there, but that's not actually real. But when you hear Commander Vestra loudly proclaim, that it's Vlakith, that the city is built on the long dead deity Vlakith, and the city, and the city is called Tunarath.
Tunarath.
TU'Narath.
Tunarath.
Yeah, and it's
I'll write it down.
yeah the
Oh, my notes crashed.
he says like he says it so proudly too, like it is their fortress, it is their city, it is the city, it is the one city in the void, he refers to it as, and he says nothing can crush us, nothing can stop us. If we will take you to this city, and he says, and we will honor you for saving us. We will bring you there, and we will return to the queen triumphant after defeating this astral dreadnought, and you all will be greeted by her as heroes.
I do have maybe some bad news about the queen. She's on a big campaign right now. She won't be at home.
He says, how do you know this?
Everyone knows. All of Wild Space, I'm sure all the Astral Sea knows. The Undying Queen her entire fleet is riding out against the Mind Flayers.
Boy, let's have you roll.
Let's have you roll Elithids.
Let's have you roll a deception check here.
Isn't this true?
Isn't that true?
It's from the vision that we got from
Deception
what's his
check.
name?
Sure.
It's going to be the same.
I think
but
if
feel
you
like
think
I'm telling the
if you
truth.
think you're telling the truth, you absolutely can. Yeah.
I do. It doesn't matter. It's the exact same roll. Ooh, 21, 19 plus 2.
Nice.
He nods at you, and he says something back that's just kind of like too quick for him for you to really quite catch back to the crew. And all of his platoon, all these Gith, like raise their weapons and cheer. And he's like, good. He says, better than ever. He says, then we should join her, or we should go back and protect the city. Either one. That is good. We must end the circle. We can. That means she is taking an active role in ending the circle. And he kind of like says something again to the platoon, and they cheer.
What does that mean, to end the circle?
End the circle.
Yes, circle. The eventuality of the mind flayers.
Okay.
Easy.
You saw the whole body language on that
one. Don't stomp on our ship.
Harlan, not to get greedy, but do I know if Tunarth is on the material plane or
I'm translating.
somewhere else?
Assume I'm translating to you.
From your natural 20, you know it is specifically not on a material plane. It is on the astral plane. It is referred to in the songs that you've heard as the great city of the astral plane.
The great city of the astral plane. And that's where we are right now.
Oh, it was the astral plane,
true.
yeah.
Yep.
Cool. I'll kind of say that to K.A.I and Klik and Moonboy, just kind of like,
I've actually heard of this. The Undying Queen is here on the astral plane.
She's
The
here?
city to North.
Perhaps if we can convince them that their queen is headed to the material plane, they might agree to just ride along.
Until when? We meet up with
I
her
don't know,
and they
that
all
might not be ideal.
chop our heads off?
Yes.
I think we can take them. I think we'll be fine.
We might be. Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to do?
Pretty
We're going to
strong.
just skate into the biggest city in the astral plane and be like, oh, we brought your army back from like 10,000 years ago. Do you want them?
Or roll up to Power Face and tell him that we brought his enemies.
Right? Perhaps the enemy of my enemy is my friend here. Maybe if we could make...
They're the friend of our
They're
enemies.
all our friends?
Well, maybe we...
We have so many enemies, I can't do the math. I
Which
can't do
enemies
this
are you talking
equation.
about?
There's
Maybe
Power Face,
if we
the Mind
could make
Flayers, and the
friends.
Undying Queen, all of which are
And
our
Janice.
enemies.
I know,
Janice,
but
who
why
with
is the
Power.
Undying Queen our enemy?
Right. Well, that's why I was asking him stuff. Maybe she's not.
And maybe she's
if she's
not.
not?
And maybe if we can make friends with an army, perhaps, showing up with an
true.
army is a little better than showing up with,
I mean, we
What
could
if she is?
ask him what the Undying Queen's into. We don't really know.
I've got a question for you, friend. What was his name? You ask him
Vestra.
what principles does your queen cherish? I can't ask him because I don't speak the same clicks and pops.
Right. I'll ask him. I mean, it's true. The Meridian Tract was trying to fight the Undying Queen and build an army. That's why they did what they did in Jadorian. To try to build an army to oppose her.
I can't remember if we ever... I feel like we've been attacked by Undying Queen.
And met
mini
Kai
bosses.
in the
Feel
brain.
Like we have also.
Now I can't remember.
I'm having
we're
the best
just
time
so-
right now. This is
Maybe
incredible.
we're just so used to fighting, we've started to assume that everyone is our
Everyone's
enemy.
an enemy? Yeah, that's probably more likely.
That sounds like us, honestly.
Yikes.
I will say,
That's tough realization.
Because we're cool.
Flute, roll or actually, this is kind of like an Andrew thing, but like, roll a history check.
Andrew, roll
I'm
a
not in the
history
game.
check.
No, you're gonna learn something.
I come out from behind a barrel. Yeah. It'd be cool if Harlan just gives me like a Civil War
I
fact.
don't know how I got here.
Hey, Jared
Got
Logan's
on the
character was
wrong
in the
bus.
game, so he was a World War II pilot.
Wow, I got almost a 20 again. I got a 22.
On a 22, you do remember that the person who you know that you defeated that was did have a deal with the Undying Queen, or worked with the Undying Queen, was the devil at that you fought with
Right.
Gregory Punch,
Mhm.
and
Right.
he was guarding that Hellmouth and kind of putting his power, exerting his power over that whole area as on behalf of the Undying Queen.
And what about Shark
he was-
Beef?
he
Isn't
was
Shark
me.
Beef
Shark
in
Beef
league
worked
with
for the
the
Undying Queen.
Undying Queen? Okay, so there's some real a-holes on this.
So they're not great.
Well, look,
on this
in the shark
city
beef
council.
situation, I think that we might have been the a-holes there. We sort of just crashed into his little pirate cove and kicked the shit out of everyone.
No way, we totally saved all those penguins. Remember?
Yep. The Cove of the Bones
That's right.
they kind of argued against it at first, but then they did celebrate the liberation of
They were
having
like,
to
save us, save us. I'll turn around. Back to the commander. Right, so completing the circle. Is that some sort of prophesized battle between the Githyanki and the Illithids?
breaking the circle.
Breaking the circle, sorry.
He says the Mind Flayers have always had the ability to win on a long enough timeline that is part of the creation of our city, and it is part of the creation, it is part of the Undying Queen's powers, is to live outside of time, to be able to fight back against the eventual nature of the Mind Flayer takeover. And she has solved that problem. And if she is moving into your realm, your space, it means that she is calling the Dark Star, and she is freeing. If she has left the city and she is heading toward your plane, it means she is close to breaking the circle, and she is guiding the Dark Star to you.
What is the Dark Star, and what will it do when it reaches the material plane? Something good?
Do you guys think they're talking about me?
Good.
The Dark Star will consume everything. It will consume all parts of your plane.
That sounds less than ideal.
Consume all parts. That could be a mistranslation.
What do they say, K.A.I? Can we be friends with them?
Unclear. When you say consume all things, like all of life, all of the material
Every
plane,
bit of it. The Dark Star is an undead planet. It is the great in the creation of anything. There is the creation of its opposite. So when life was created at all, a void opened up and a planet formed.
Void, undead planet.
In the same way that a planet grew.
Unlife bomb.
When life was created on a planet, death was created on a planet. And it is a planet that is built of nothing but death. Nothing but life that has defeated death.
So, because the Undying Queen is undying,
she has
She's
defeated
like
time.
super pro-death?
she will exist outside of this everything dying, presumably?
Yes, she is not a part of your plane. She lives outside of it. We live on the great city.
I see.
Oh, all of you
so
guys.
we're like, I see.
Yeah,
so
they're all, like,
everything
from around
outside
here.
of the astral sea will be swallowed by a void.
Well, there are many dimensions outside of your
So you
own,
guys
but
are going to
your
get-
dimension will be swallowed just as many other dimensions have been swallowed.
You guys are going to get
Yeah,
to
sorry.
drink the
Thank you.
Kool-Aid
Important clarification.
and keep your fancy new sneakers.
So you have your dimension and eat it too.
Eat, right?
There's nothing to
the
worry
title.
about.
Write it down.
You are clearly our allies. You have saved us. You have defeated an astral dreadnought. You will be welcomed. You do not need to worry.
It does sound
No,
great.
yeah.
I'd just like to say, Jordan, am currently looking up spells to see what I have to kill all of these guys. But Moonboy is definitely looking at this conversation just like, what do they say?
I'm translating.
Yeah, as you're translating,
I'm
I'm like
translating
Is it
as we go.
something nice?
trying to just smile and laugh
So
and like
sandwiches for
rub.
everybody then?
I just pat Moonboy on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds.
I'm giving a steadily
insane.
more
insane.
wary translation.
I
Okay.
think this dragon
They
is
want to
our
detonate
friend
an
after all.
anti-life bomb to restart time.
Zombie son.
Consume more than restart, but yes.
Consume, of course.
Who said that?
Worse than restarting. Restarting would be
What was
better.
that? Okay,
Well,
so
it sounds great. It really does.
Who wants to unlock this dragon?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, you
Let's
don't like
see
these
about-
guys, right?
Let's
dragon?
Are you saying that to the
Dragon.
dragon?
Yeah.
Dragon said he'd kill all of them.
You're not into these guys? Quick reminder.
If you ask Zuthicteric Ignis, the red dragon, like chained up on the ground, its whole body jerks and he like screams back in your head, yeah, they are cowards. They would not bow to me. They betrayed me. They were too weak to defeat the astral dreadnought that consumed us. And because of that, I have not been allowed to transcend, and they will be punished for it.
You know, I thought I was having a moment before when I was like, oh, we think we're too ready to fight. We think everyone's our enemy. No, everyone is terrible.
Bad. Everybody's bad.
Everyone
Just
is
top to
very
bottom.
bad.
I
We're
mean,
the
it's
only
like-
ones.
Yeah,
It's like when you see like a
really
video about like juggalos cleaning up trash, and then the very next day you hear about they use that trash to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Juggalos building trash can in wood.
We do have a solution. If we could release the dragons on these guys, I don't think we'd have a ship afterward.
I'm
think we would
leaning
either.
toward
Hey,
that,
just
and
like,
I think generally
what if we-
releasing a dragon means you'll end up having to fight the dragon.
Nah, it's
So
probably
let's
Maybe,
just put them
but what
both
if we
into the
can get
forge
them
and be on our
into the
way.
forge. But how? I'm a terrible
We tell
liar.
them,
But tell them we can't take them on this ship. We're
know who's a
busy
great
repairing our own
liar?
ship. But there's a portal here that leads to the material plane.
Oh,
okay,
that's a good point.
that's pretty good.
Just tell the truth. I'm bad at that too.
Well, a bit of the truth.
All right, you can Windrider do it? Can Flute do it?
Yeah, maybe there's a way to use your stats for this, Flute.
Can we? Does anybody have
I
like
can
a spell?
talk to the dragon.
No, I'm not going out like that. We got
shit.
this.
Like, I already made a deal with a dragon, alright? I can't have two bargains with two dragons.
That is true.
Let's have everybody roll a perception check real quick.
One of them speaks common.
Perception 19.
Oh, I assumed that we were out of earshot of the dragon. I would assume the
It's not about
dragon
the dragon.
speaks
Oh,
common. Percepi 11.
Klik, you notice, and you notice that both what I'm about to tell you, and you also notice that no one else, including your crew or the Githyanki, Zuthicteric Ignis, no one else has noticed that the Dinger, your ship that is being has been pulled throughout all the astral plane because it has been so destroyed at points, kind of gives this jerk of movement that is, it's clearly no longer being towed. It is its own, it's kind of like come back online, and you can just see it floating there, and you notice by the connection points are no
that's
longer holding it
jeez.
directly. It's more of, they're just like sitting there between the two of them. And it seems like you sent Dingham Nidris away to go back and make sure that Goliathan was okay, as he seemed to have traded places with Dingham Nidris, the helm.
Yeah.
And so you don't know quite what's happening, but you know that the Dinger is back online.
I'll get on the Rocky-Talkie and be like, Captain, the Dinger seems to be moving, or what's going on over there?
Yeah, I'm moving now. It's me still. I'm inside the helm. It's weird. I don't have a body currently.
You're still the chair.
I'm the
We
chair
sent
right now.
the
Why
Dingham
did I
Nidris
talk
over
like
there.
you just then?
He's sitting
Oh,
on
no.
me. He's sitting on me. And
Oh, Dingham Nidris is the
reverse
jammer,
jamming.
huh?
Also,
Jammy has become the jammer.
Olaf Anticulus fixed the ship, he says.
Oh, well, that's good news.
Literally forgot
yeah.
he was on it.
He's really, really good at that. We
Okay.
need to talk to him also.
Yeah, quickly. How about, you know
I
what?
think we need to pull the trigger on this plan. I think it's the best plan I can think of.
Okay, I'm in.
I agree with you guys.
All right.
To get them into the forge. That's
Get
the
them
best
into the
option.
forge.
I'll clap Kai on the shoulder and give him bardic inspiration, and I'll be like,
You can convince him to go in there. I mean, it's better than us killing them, right? So
I'll do the
in a way,
motion
you're
of
telling them the
cracking my
truth.
neck, which I've seen Klik do, which I've seen Flute do, trying to psych himself up, but I have no bones, so it does nothing.
It spins around.
Commander, we have urgent business. And our path is our own, and we must follow it. We cannot take you to your queen. We don't even know where she is. However, within this structure here, and I will gesticulate towards the Azure Forge, there's a system of portals, and they will take you to your queen. It's the best we can offer you.
You just need to spend a summer navigating these rooms.
It will take us to... You don't know where she is, but you know this room of portals will take us to her?
They can take you anywhere.
But, I mean, if they can... What is the magic? What is the mechanism? How do we find her with this portal system?
Just follow the doors.
You guys aren't good at magic? Yeah, just follow the doors.
No, I mean, we just have a guarantee right now. It's that if you take us to the city, then...
We're not going to the
Can't
city.
do that.
Then give us a ship.
No.
No.
You're out of the Astral Dreadnought. We gave you a perfectly good map home, and we've got to get on our way.
We are trying to do our best by you. And if you're thinking that there's a third option, which I'm sure you are, I assure you, it's not a guarantee.
All right. K.A.I, roll a persuasion check. Klik, roll an intimidation check. And then Flute or
I might be
Moonboy.
trying to intimidate him also.
Okay. You can roll intimidation too if you want to. And then
I have
I
my
want
hand
Flute or
on the
Moonboy
hilt
to
of my
add a check to
sword.
this too.
What do you
Bardic
got?
Inspiration, that's good, that's
Flute.
good.
So you can roll a d10 and add it. I think I'm also trying to intimidate. I can kind of see the vibe between the Gith and K.A.I, and
Do it.
I kind of push my pirate coat to the side where the hilt of my magic sword is showing.
With Bardic Inspiration, that's a 25.
Klik will square up her shoulders and sort of flash the black docile of the blade on her back, and I rolled an 18.
And then
me?
Flute, you have a roll, and you stand up and look tough, and they kind of like are looking at all of you, and you just realize too that the rider is standing behind you and kind of has like floated up from the ground below to try and make you look extra intimidating, which doesn't add to your roll, but is just fun.
It's cool. Well, then I got a 27.
Yeah.
Oh, it does add to the roll.
Ooh, scary having two flutes.
Yeah. It scares me even. Oh, God.
And
That's how scary it is. Even
for
I
this
think
moment
it's
too,
scary.
his body just looks like extra warped. It just looks like it's you standing behind him that's just like melting. It looks like ice melting behind you. If you were an ice statue that was like painted, it's just like melting behind you. And I rolled each individually for the DC of all three of your checks, and all three of you succeeded there.
Yes.
So
Good rolls.
this platoon of Gith kind of like size you up, and they say, they kind of like look,
Don't do
and
it.
the commander turns around and looks at you and says some things to folks behind him, and they kind of reorganize their ranks, and they say, and Commander Vestra says, okay, we will go through this portal system. We know of the Azure Forge, and we know that it is, we've never been to it, but we have heard of it, and we know that it is connected to many parts of the many universes. So we will go our way, and we will remember that you saved us from this terrible creature.
Mm-hmm. Take the bus.
We loosened it up for you.
We will, we will take Zuthuk Ignis with us, and we will fulfill our duty to the Undying Queen.
What do you say?
He's taking the dragon
they
with him.
want to take the dragon.
Great. We'll have them go through first, and we'll let them know we'll be pushing the dragon through after.
No, they
We'll
can.
see if they go for that, I guess.
Okay.
Agreed.
Cool. You see, the ship. I assume the ship is going to move now over to this like small hole that you have made, with the astral dreadnought destroyed, and all these like buildings that were inside of it too, just have like floated off into the astral plane around you, and you can fly the ship over to this bombarded hole in the edge there, as they will widen it and start to go through.
Yeah, as long as we're not going away from the dinger.
Yeah.
As long as the dinger actually follows us when the ship moves.
Yeah, it will move
then
in
we're
line
good.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, just making sure. Klik will go down to the helm of the Elvish impersonator, and she'll send, on the way down, she's going to send a little telepathic message to Flute. She'll be like, loosen the chains on that dragon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And she'll go down to the chair.
Great.
And we'll jam a little closer to the hole.
Jam a
Two
little
birds, one
closer.
stone, baby. A problem for later.
Like everything else.
Just kick that down the road.
That is future heroes' problem. And we
Win, honestly.
hate those guys. We hate future heroes. Those guys suck.
I'll whisper for Moonboy to give a little distraction at the bow of the ship.
Yeah, he does.
That's
So
the
he
front
kind
of the
of
ship, right?
he flies up and flashes brightly with his shoes and his glowing form.
I love it.
And I'll go. Is there a way that I can loosen this dragon's bonds so that it could perhaps bust free?
Well, you tell
You
me,
know what?
because this is the scene I will give you as the first kind of like half of this platoon is started to go in, and there's Commander Vestra is going last here, kind of like bringing up the rear. But there's a couple of Githyanki that step forward that clearly have some sort of magical abilities to them as they stand around and cast spells upon the dragon to make it easier for a few of the Githyanki to move this huge chained beast. Here toward the hole that the first part of the Githyanki have had to widen to even be able to fit Zuthuk Ignis through. But they've effectively like widened it as the ship has pulled up, and they're like starting to head toward it, and Commander Vestra like nods to you, Flute and Moonboy, if you're in and around, and he just says like, thank you, we will be sure and mention you by name to the Undying Queen and make sure that you are in her favor. He says like nodding.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the scene. Is there are a lot of Githyanki in and around, and there are chains, but there are clearly 2 locks on the chains, and one of them is holding some sort of like magical. It's like a near muzzle. It's not. It wasn't crafted to be a muzzle, but there's something holding the dragon's jaw shut and kind of like holding its head in place, and then another set of chains that is wrapping around its body. Both of them have magical properties to prevent the dragon from attacking or moving.
Well, I don't know if I have anything that does that kind of thing.
Moonboy, do you have anything that could turn off these magic locks?
I'm gonna ask the dragon in common too, like,
What other languages do you speak?
It says I speak the language of death and destruction.
Oh.
I'm just like rubbing my face in my hands, like,
All right. Well,
you stay locked, you maniac. God damn it.
Fire that created every planet that you have ever walked on, I speak to it.
Far gone to be helpful.
Really destroyed me.
all right, death metal dragon. Oh God.
I mean, I could definitely unlock those locks. For some reason, I'm envisioning Moonboy just eating like a popsicle through this whole thing. Sap, you guys liquidating dudes?
Unlock them so it's not obvious that they're unlocked.
Yeah, I could cast, like, dispel magic on them.
All right. Hey, Ignis, just stay putting those chains till you're through the gate, all right?
I do not know who you speak of. I am Zuthuk Ignis.
Right. Well, can you agree?
Listen,
can you agree to
what
that?
I can do? You know what I can do? Hang on.
I got one.
He's got one. Hang on, here's K.A.I. He's got one. I'm gonna put K.A.I. on the phone.
I've got a thing.
I'm trying to get this dragon to agree to being chill till it gets through.
I don't think
My
that's gonna
tactical
happen.
mind is unfathomable. I will wait
But
until
here's the
exactly the
thing.
right time to strike.
Here's the thing: if those locks are sealed with magic, I can watch him go through the portal, and I can at 120 feet.
All right. I think that might be good enough.
And then we seal it up and fly away.
I'll pat the dragon on the claw and give the dragon bardic inspiration.
I'll be like, gotta come with some more flavor than that, sir.
Sing him a little dragon song, flute boy.
I'll be like,
You can take all these gith, right? No problem.
No problem, he says. I can take all of these gith. No problem.
Shh, quiet. Be calm.
All right.
Kai, what was your plan?
Am I going to do a spell?
Yeah,
Or
what
one
was
of
the
you guys gonna
spell?
do one?
What was the spell? Because I can dispel magic once he's through the in the Azure Forge.
I think
you're
I
gonna
have
have to
something.
see it.
I think I have something better.
Okay.
Klik. Tell him that once they're inside, to rage against his bonds, and he will find that he is free. Can you tell him that?
I look at the git that are around too, and I'm like fake spit at the
Sure.
dragon.
I'm downstairs jamming, but I could, if I can hear the walkie-talkie and communicate telepathically while I'm jamming,
Done deal.
then
This is too fun.
sick. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll get into the dragon's mind and say, no beast as powerful as you should be in bonds.
No beast
you're-
as powerful as me should be in bonds. It says
Yeah,
that.
just one. Yeah, would you wait? Jesus. No beast as powerful as you should be in bonds. Once you're into the Azure Forge, strain against your chains and you'll find that you are free.
And I'm going to I'm going to send Bessner over to flutter down and sort of just like hide on the dragon's back or whatever. And right before they go in there, I'm going to use Bessner as a conduit for touch to cast the spell Freedom of Movement.
Ooh, that will do
Wow.
it.
I'm gonna pat
Oh,
Moonboy
jeez,
on the
I
back
think
and
I
go.
have that
There's
too.
definitely not going to be any bad coincidences from this one.
No problem.
Truly
We're not
a
gonna free another
watertight
monster and
Finally.
have that bite us in the
Finally,
ass.
a good choice.
Finally, a plan that has absolutely no flaws. Watertight,
Okay.
not a fissure in the bottle.
Yeah, we.
Aaron Urist, have Bessner roll a stealth check here.
Why?
No, I don't want to.
Why?
Can't imagine a single consequence of this.
Where are Bessner's stats?
He's tiny.
Yeah,
tiny.
Besser's
It was a
just
decent
been gone for
roll.
so long. Yeah.
I know,
Because
he's back
you all
now.
hadn't been able to rest.
Bessner got an 18.
Ooh, not bad. little
He's
fella.
surprisingly stealthy.
So,
He's
does
a
Bessner
hummingbird.
remind anybody else of Woodstock from Peanuts?
Absolutely.
He's a little
Big
bit
Woodstock energy.
Yeah, but like the cool older brother of Woodstock.
Hey, Woodstock was cool. Woodstock was counterculture, baby.
Yeah, it's
go.
like the instead of like the
You guys want to hear about
bird,
the 60s?
instead of like the stoner bird, like Bessner's like the one that studied coding and like
Shit.
Now is a multimillionaire. Yeah,
He's like
well done.
Not the 90s Woodstock, because that was a disaster.
That was a complete monstrosity.
yeah has some like pretty interesting opinions about techno agriculture that like aren't that are like fun and cool. Okay, anyway. So yeah, Bessner like tucks herself under the wing of this dragon and just like flutters through a bunch of the gith, kind of like as the dragon ripples in the air and is being held up by magic and pulled through, and you just see like this little glint of Bessner nuzzling herself in there. And you click as the dragon, as Zuthuk Ignis starts to go out of the range of your telepathy, as it's pulled through this like much widened gap in the fissure of the Azure Forge. You hear inside of your mind, "Your loyalty to my reign will not be forgotten. When I rule all, you will be invited to serve me." And as he's like pulled through, and
Appreciate it.
I'll check the mail every day.
Okay, any way to seal this hole in the Azure Forge?
I was definitely going to try and do that.
We just get a little bit of tape over that.
Commander Vestra says, "You will not be forgotten," as he is the last one to step through and step through.
I give him a salute as he's
Yeah.
going through.
Roll a deception check just for the fun of it.
For the salute, does it come off as sarcastic?
Oh.
Hey, wait!
Well, he'd better have a shrewd eye, because I got a 33.
Holy shit!
You do like
Wow.
the Gith
Flute
Yankee
is
specific
rolling die
salute.
tonight.
Yeah.
Real.
It's like palm up
Yeah.
or whatever.
You see him
you
kind
give
of like
him-
emotionally inspired in this moment, and he's like, "Wow, we really were saved by the right people." Kind of like nodding
Yeah.
to you, being like,
Yes.
"All right, I'll give you this honor, you weirdo." He says, kind of like
Enough
nodding
people
to you.
respect the troops anymore.
We're not heroes. We're better than heroes.
Amazing.
What can you? Who's got something to seal the hole, or are you just flying the fuck away?
I am
don't.
a powerful
Yeah.
artificer.
That part of the plan I just was
No.
sure
Flex team
someone
book
else
it.
had.
I could try. I could try, but I think maybe we should just leave.
I think it's time to fuck off.
Cool.
Let us fuck off. Klik
go.
will spin this guy around and try to jam as
Oh,
quickly
boy.
as possible away from the mess we just made.
Lenticulus.
And you all have to go deal with whatever is happening with the chair and our captain. And
Yeah, I'm gonna hightail it over to the Dinger.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I'll
hear
follow.
like you give the
Rolling
go
up
to the
sleeves
Dinger
that
2
I
and the
don't
bonds the holding the two ships. This like collage of ropes just like snap in half as both of the ships like turn away and they like fly together through this like thought propelled magical stream of high speed through the astral plane away from the Azure Forge. You are finally
Fine.
away from the
Wait.
Azure Forge.
Wait.
Yep.
I forgot my wallet.
Yeah.
It's
As
gone,
you
have to
K.A.I.
go back.
You can make a new one. You can make a new one.
I can't.
you-
It was my favorite. All right.
You as you like worry for a moment, you see Bessner just like up to the back of the ship, like joining and like sitting down on the very back of railing of
Does
the ship.
Bessner have a way to give us a holographic projection of what just happened inside that tear? Please, K.A.I, tell us that Bessner can
I don't
show
know
us
if
what
she could-
happened.
I don't know if I would have been able to look through her eyes if she went on the other side.
A little tiny like
I would try.
a little tiny like piece of metal opens on like from under her wing, and this light beams out of it, and you just see
Oh my God, you have a projector.
the form of Zuthuk
help me, Flute
Ignis.
Windrider. You're my only hope.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
You just see the form of Zuthuk Ignis rise up behind a large chunk of the Gith as he's been set down inside of this foyer of the Astral Forge. And you just see them kind of like talking about wanting to do, and they see the cavern. As you were like close enough to it, you see the cavern where the portal that you came through was, and they're starting to head toward it. And one of the Gith gestures back, like, okay, let's get the casters over here to lift Zuthuteric Ignis, as he just rises above all of them, and there's a burst of flames as the recording from Besner ends. And that is where we're going to take a quick 5-minute break.
Love it.
Yeah.
5 stars.
Swallow your own universe.
That's cool. I
Esther
didn't
went
give
down
her
to
that.
Canal Street and got some knockoff Kobe shit
Yeah.
put in.
You've been getting on unlicensed upgrades.
We're about halfway through the episode here, so we're gonna take a quick break where we drink, pee, and we'll see you on the other side in just 5 minutes. But shout out to Jason Wardell. That was some fine ass soundtrack.
Very cool.
All right, we'll see you in 5 minutes. Bye.
Work on it. Have something by Monday.
The joke doesn't feel like I want it to feel.
I have some friends who are teachers who like have started, who are like non-binary folks who have started
Fucking
going by
bragging.
MX as like their in-school teacher name.
Yeah, it's
and
popular.
interesting.
it does make me think about like it's so
parents
cool and fun. Like the kids get it
losing their
immediately.
minds.
But it's fun to think about like those like fantasy
say
titles
that?
like that. Mix like Mix
Oh,
Kelly.
Mix.
Yeah.
Ah,
Like Mr. and Mrs.
interesting.
Mix. Yeah.
Ah.
I had a teacher back in the day who went by Ms. And we were like, what does it mean? What's the difference? And she's like, Mrs. is married, Miss is unmarried, and Ms.
Yeah.
is none of your goddamn
None of your biz.
Yeah.
Did she say that?
None of your business.
That's fun.
I love it.
Biz,
Cool.
biz.
Well, we're back here. We're rolling.
We're back.
back.
And you all are now hurtling through the astral sea, and right now you've just kind of gone.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right now you just kind of gone.
Everyone's
Is that us
pupils
leveling up?
dilate.
Right now you all have just kind of gone away. You just hauled ass out of there in the opposite direction, and because things aren't, the location of things in the astral sea are pretty flexible. You've
Lucky.
really gone to the place of away. You've just gone away, and you're now out in these pink and purple shifting clouds all around you, far away from anything. And the ship's kind of slow here as you realize you're far enough away to not be followed, not really be caught. And you just have this moment from each ship as they come out of, it's not quite terminal speed because you're in a weird other dimension and the rules are different, but as each ship skids to a stop in this fog cloud around them, what are you all doing?
K.A.I is hustling onto the dinger below decks, hoping to find Dingomnidris and Goliathan and Oliphanticulus either as quickly as possible or all at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah, Moonboy's gonna follow.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm staying on the deck of Klik ship just for general security, since only Cobble is on that ship.
yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, just good balance there. I like it. Yeah, you do find in the helm room of the Dinger, you go back through the secret mirror door because the back part of the ship that was broken open before is no longer broken open. It seems to have been fixed very well.
It looks beautiful.
And so you
Better than ever.
you can't. You go through this like mirror door that you all have the passcode to, and you step in and you see
Eek.
Oliphanticulus sitting in his cozy chair. This older dwarf that was your mentor, kind of, sort of your father, K.A.I, sitting in front a chair facing the helm, sitting in front of it as this corporal form of Dingham Nidris sits inside of this stone chair, and the big back juts of the chair stick up, and you see Goliathan's face in the middle of the back chair, and the stones seem to grow into a large cowboy hat on top of the chair as well.
Incredible.
I'll put my hand on Olephanticulus's shoulder and say, you all right? Just checking in.
I am, he says.
We need to get off. We need to find a way out of the Astral Sea as quickly as possible. We need to return to the material plane.
I understand why that would be, yes.
To the Moon Girl and hopefully Florial. There's a lot to talk about. I know that your memories are still flooding back to you, but we need to find a way back. If for no other reason than for this, as I wave my arm at the situation.
Yes.
The reverse cowgirl. If it wasn't a double, I wouldn't have done it, okay? It's a twofer. I say sadly.
Olephanticulus kind of like ignores you. Well, it's like he's only half listening to you, and Clang, his bird, just goes like looking at you when you say that, and he's swirling his tea, looking at Dingham Nidris and saying, he should be able to bring you back, this one.
What?
This one, he says, the Synapse Helm. He can
think
take you
he could
back.
bring us back?
He can take the ship. He can. Synapse Helms generally can
travel between planes.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
We knew that they could travel between crystal spheres.
Yes.
Between whatever they are, realities.
It
Whatever
would be
they are.
difficult bringing
Spheres.
your other ship with you, but if you need to boop, if you need to quickly boop, you can boop here.
The Elvish impersonator? We'll have to leave it behind. I suppose you're right.
Yeah.
But unless there's another, I'm sure there are many ways in and out of the astral plane.
No, we need to keep everyone together.
But you said you want to go find the Moon Girl and Florial? He says, kind of like rubbing his head.
Moon Girl went off in search of Florial, and we were given a vision by our allies and it showed us the Moon Girl. And hopefully she's found him, because there's a lot going on.
I hope she did not find him.
Is he not a doer of great deeds anymore?
Florial is... They're complicated. They're actually... They're many things now, but... You've brought me back, and Moon Girl is trying to find Florial, then that means that the world is in danger. Yes? I assume?
Great danger. All of the worlds.
He kind of sighs and looks very tired, and he's like, K.A.I, I've been remembering. I've been remembering too much, too quickly, and
I'm sorry.
He kind of makes eye contact with you for the first time, like at this point too, and he says, I missed the time that we had when we were just locked away, and I went by, what was it? I was just this great, long-lost adventurer. What did you call me? He says. Heinrich?
Lenticulus. Hammerstein.
Hammerstein. He says, yes, and he like kind of like gestures to your arm. He's like, I missed that time when I remembered just enough to be able to tinker and be able to create and tap into my power without being weighed down by all the things that I have created and all the thoughts that I have had.
So your memory was already different.
Yes, I think at that point, from what I can tell, it was self-imposed, and then it got a bit rearranged for others' purposes.
You never told me about any of that.
I didn't know any of that then, and
Right.
that's why our time together was so great and beautiful and pure. We were just working together, creating together, knitting the fabric of the universe.
Was
What a
great
joy
time.
to be able to be left alone to just to connect across existences and create. To be left alone to do the work that you feel like you were meant to do.
It was beautiful. I didn't know that there was anything else until it was over.
I envy you. I would trade places with you if I could for that. I would rebuild myself just as you have built your body, and I would build myself into you at that time, just coming online, and you were so good at putting anything together, at seeing the patterns of the world.
Well, things are different now.
Yes.
I don't even know where you went.
I mean, I was taken away. I gave, now that I have been able to put it together, I can tell you that I gave myself to the Arcane in hopes of being able to be a vessel of creation. And I knew that they would utilize me, this organization of the Arcane. But I must have been snatched away by this Mir, this rogue agent of them, to not just turn the knobs to create, but to turn the knobs to create something. And I just, it's always that's the problem, he says, kind of like getting upset in his chair and running his hands through his hair and his beard and like getting a little huffed and taking a sip of his tea. People always want to do things with it.
Yes, we had to throw a bit of a horse in the works on that one. I'm sorry that I didn't know how much you were hurting.
Yeah.
I would have tried to help.
He says, I mean, look at you. Look how much life you are full of now. I mean, you were full of life then, but look at you. You have a body, you have friends, you have an understanding of taste, though you have none.
I haven't been cooking as much. I haven't had time.
Saving the world.
I don't think I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm just trying to keep everyone safe and trying to do the best I can, and just trying to find you.
Find me. Interesting. When all I wanted was to be away from the world, to tuck myself away. And when our friendship was formed off of me tucking myself away, and yet you've defeated unfathomable odds to find me and undo all that I have done in my own mind too. He kind of like laughs, and And again, like they're having this conversation in front of all of you a little bit too. Like they're like, I assume you all are kind of giving it space. Even Ding Omnidris, who does not read the room well, has been quiet here. But they're just kind of like sitting in front of you all having this conversation. As Olafenticulus seems distracted and not even aware, as is clearly distressed.
Well, I'm afraid it looks like you won't be rid of either of us that easily.
I know, I had good friends once. I understand how annoying they can be when you're in a time of need. And by annoying, I mean helpful and good.
Well, thank you for fixing the ship.
Thank you for fixing my head.
I hope that's what we did. I'm sorry I didn't know what we were undoing, but we're going to move forward and do the best we can.
He says, part of dreaming is waking up.
And as soon
I wouldn't know anything about that.
as soon as he says that, Moonboy goes, "Oh, did you feel that? I think she's ready." And he gets up and runs out of the room and runs into his little garden workshop. And he starts calling for you guys. He's like, guys, come on, get in here.
Sure.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah, you all can...
still jamming. Because we're...
I don't have a rocky talkie.
Goliathan, you good? You good? You were next on my agenda.
Yeah, you know what? I think I kind of earned this one. I've been sitting on that seat for a long time, and if, you know, I could take my turn in the saddle.
Ding Omnidris.
As the saddle, you mean?
This is
As the
saddle.
Ding Omnidris. This is not forever.
Oh, what?
Goliathan. Yes. Good. Ding Omnidris.
I just got out
5
of
more
that damn
minutes.
thing.
5 more minutes.
Okay.
And then
Oh my
we really need to get back to the material plane. So if you could start thinking about what we need to do to make that happen.
Okay.
I promise that
I'll
we-
think about it, he says.
I promise we can look into whatever is happening here. And I personally will work with you to try to figure out how we can amend your situation more to your liking. All right?
Roll a persuasion check.
I'm not good at this. 4.
He says, okay.
Flash of genius. 9.
What are you doing?
The genius debater.
You all lock eyes, and there's just this like long, moony stare between the two of you. Just these like huge glowing eyes. From one set of glowing eyes to another. You all look at each other for a while, and he goes, okay, I understand. This isn't tenable. This isn't
We'll work on it.
sustainable. But I like it. Look how powerful and big and hot I am.
You look amazing. You truly do.
I haven't had a body before. It's weird. Why do you have so many tubes on the ends?
Therefore, manipulating objects. We can't talk about this right now.
You could just do it with your mind, he said. And then, yeah, okay, he's like, okay, go.
Not everyone can do that. We'll work on it, I promise. And then we'll go
The ships are just kind of floating, so if you all want to join them, you can, but you don't have to. Yeah. Flute and Klik.
Okay.
I mean, if,
Then I
if
will,
it's
yeah.
cool if I can somehow find out of what's happening, yeah, I would definitely head over to that ship.
I will be a part
We're
of
also
this
going
scene.
we're going to have to leave the Elvish impersonator.
Yeah, maybe. If you want to
Maybe.
use the route
Maybe.
of the Dinger plane shifting, then
Oh,
yes.
yeah. I mean, we have to get off of here. I would rather crash this ship into nothingness.
Cool. So yeah, you all run down here, and you, Moonboy, you arrive first, but you're quickly followed by the rest of your companions. As you arrive into this very pruned garden, and both Arugula and Malzor are just standing, both looking at the cocoon, and they're both kind of looking at it. And every once in a while, you hear one of them go, "Who's going? Beautiful."
Yeah, and I think the cocoon. I think Moonboy runs up to it, and he kind of gives it a hug, and kind of puts his ear to it, and he's like, "Oh, you feel that? You feel it? It's warm." And it's like this cocoon is like glowing with this sort of amorphous yellow, pink, blue, almost like as if like, like a translucent cocoon with like almost like a yolk sort of floating around in there. And he's like, all right. So I think I've only, I've seen it done once or twice. I did it once and it didn't go great. We don't have to talk about that. I think at any point we can cut her open and we'll have Goat back. Well, Goat-ish.
Cobble pops out of a flower pot and says, "That's not what these boys have been saying, or these folks have been saying." She says, gesturing at the two dwarfs, and they both are startled. And you see Arugula like starts to glow and like levitate a little bit. And Malzor says, "Oh no, oof, dundo," and like says to him, and he like settles down, and they settle down and like land on the floor. And Cobble's like, "I heard Malzor muttering to himself. He said that she's not ready because there's no time." And Malzor turns to you and like, "Yeah,
right.
It's true. He told me that, I've been like staring at this thing, and I've been communicating with Arugula a little bit, and they were saying they agree that there's no reforming here. There's only undoing."
Shit, yeah, we went over that already, didn't we?
Yeah.
But look at it, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah,
The
it's like
liquefication process has happened for sure, but the reforming hasn't happened.
Like a see-through disco avocado.
It's exactly what it's like, man.
Pretty cool.
K.A.I, hit the lights. And we have a vegetable rave.
Yeah, Arugula starts glowing as well and like dancing with any sort of...
We don't have time for
that's
this.
cool. Yes, we got to go. Okay, yeah, I forgot about this
No,
one.
it's
I'll
fine,
go with
it's
him.
fine, it's fine. Everybody else
What?
keep recreating. It's okay. I'm going to run in to talk to Dingonidris again.
Yeah, sure.
Or no, wait. Stop recreating. We need everyone for this.
Malzor is like, "Can I stay here with my new buddy? We're kind of figuring things out a little bit.
Yes, that would be best.
Do you know that honey moss dwarves wanted to be eaten by gods? They viewed their life as sustenance. It's a beautiful thing," he says. It's just
Didn't you tell us that?
Yeah, I know, but like hearing it in there, in just articulated in the way that he kind of like starts to tear up, and he's like, just go. Like,
I'm happy for you. I'm glad we were able to get you out of there.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you all like? Definitely a thing that you all can do here is you just seem to be floating in the middle of the astral plane is to continue to just like take a breather, reset in any way, because there just seems to be nothing bothering you. You're out in the middle of this pink and purple
Why do we
abyss.
need to rest?
But if you also want to try and find a way forward too, that's up to you two.
Do we need to take a long rest? I guess we did fight an astral dreadnought.
Yeah.
We did,
As
yeah.
well.
I guess I got pretty walloped. Did we
There's no
land
time
on the
here, so
plan?
this-
Do we want to try to fly these ships out, or just plane shift out?
It feels
I mean,
like we should get out of here as soon as possible. If we want
I don't know
go back,
how we would fly the ships out.
it's
That's a if we can, right?
I suppose.
As opposed to the plane shift, which seems like we think we can do.
I'd rather get out of here sooner.
I agree.
I agree.
It's a fine ship.
Hold on to this little ship.
We've denied it to 2 of our enemies. That's pretty good.
That's true. Okay. Well.
3 if you count Mir.
He didn't want the Elvish impersonator, this whole thing.
Plus, if we get back sooner, we can bring back Goat.
Yeah.
Will it be her?
We'll try.
You don't seem sure that it's going to bring her back. Moonboy?
Sorry, say it again.
You listening to music, Moonboy?
I promise.
I was just
That's
saying
the most actually Moonboy thing ever.
Great RP,
He's
Jordan.
like staring off at the wall.
Just talking about,
Sorry,
what
I
we're
was
gonna do
dragged
next.
violently into the
was-
conversation.
I was just wondering if it was really going to bring Goat back. You didn't seem sure.
Yeah, it'll pop her right out as soon as we get back to regular time. It should do. I mean,
Is it going
Cobble
to be her?
pops into the room with you and she says, "But will it bring her back exactly as she was?
no.
Or is she gonna have moth wings?"
Well, it depends.
I wouldn't be.
I mean, but it'll be, her soul. It'll be her. She'll have her memories and what have you.
There were a lot of things.
Relic doesn't believe you. We were talking earlier, and he's been crying a lot because he thinks Goat's dead and never coming back.
No, it'll be Goat. Is there something that we could ask her to make sure that it's Goat?
I mean,
Ask her if she wants to fight.
Yes, that would do it.
We wish we could ask her if I know how to whistle.
That'd be good.
That would be good.
That's probably the one.
you can ask her if we've ever kissed.
What?
Yeah,
What?
we need one
Because
that
the answer
other
would be
people
no,
can
Cobble says.
confirm.
Of course.
Yeah.
Is Cobble lying? Can I do an
I
insight
don't, I
check?
don't
Insight check.
totally know how to unpack that.
No, that's the kind of thing that someone says and you're like, but you brought it up. A 17.
She's lying in some way. Yeah.
Doesn't count if she's dead.
That is hilarious.
Right. Oh, do you know, I guess you don't, what kind of body she'll get?
No, it's sort of decided at the moment of the popping open of the melon back there. I've got this spade, and he holds up his kind of little ceremonial spade, and I can give it a little whap. It'll pop open and,
Cool.
For what it's worth, Goat always seemed to struggle against her physical form.
Yes, there were a
It's
lot
true.
of things that she didn't really like about herself.
maybe she'll, boy, what if she rose Goliath again? Could you imagine?
What are the odds of that?
Okay, let's all decide
Out
right
of
now.
all of them?
If she rolls Goliath again, we just don't say anything about it. We don't say anything about there being options.
Right.
Deal.
Cobble's like, we could also just kill her again and do the whole process over.
I don't think that's
I
right.
mean,
prefer not
it's
to.
true. Well, I don't really have the roots for it at this point, Look
It's
around.
always an option. Maybe we'll do that with you, Cobble.
When I'm gone, don't bring me back, she says.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Goliath.
Whatever happens, I hope she's happy.
Goliath is not an option on the reincarnation table, so
Well, I hope it works. If Goliaths can't reincarnate. Sorry. What a way to find out you have no soul.
Oh, boy.
God, what if I was holding on to this card the whole time that
Oh
Go
my
was actually dead and
God.
Relic
Yeah.
was right? Relic was right.
oh wow.
Could be.
first.
Could be.
I might be bluffing right now. I might be getting you off my trail by saying this
boy.
at all. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I
Okay,
suppose
cool.
we
I mean,
rest
so
and-
if the plan is to just use Ding Hamnidris to plane shift it seems like maybe you can just do it. I will say this is not. Olafenticulus did say that there are many ways off the astral plane, but you didn't really like. That's something you don't have to investigate if you don't want to, because you could just go right now with the dinger, is what is being implied here by Olafenticulus himself as well.
Is there anything anyone needs off the other ship?
Are we going right now, or are we gonna rest?
Right, we should rest.
That's right.
While we do, I'll talk to Olafenticulus a little bit. We all can, just about what our options might be, but if another one doesn't present itself by breakfast,
cool.
We should probably go.
Cool. As the word has kind of been passed around to everybody that you all are going to probably boomf out of here by plane shifting with Dingham Nidris. As that's been passed around, Cobble and Relic kind of have huddled up a little bit, and Cobble has passed on the information that you gave to her to Relic, and they seem to be cheery a bit about going back to the material plane and being able to finally get back to this world, as they've just been gone from it since the fight at Judorian. And in Cobble's clearly like comforting Relic at the idea of no, it's look, I know that he only eats pickles. I know that he is what he is, but like you also seen the magic that he can do, and goat's gonna come back. She's saying to him, and Dingham Nidris is like still very pouty about it, but is clearly agreeing and going along with it. You check on Malzor and Irregula, and they are just having the best time. Like Irregula is like talking to Malzor, and they're like talking very quickly, and Malzor's like nodding and being like, "Oh yes, oh okay, all right, that makes total sense, and you're doing all right." Like he's just kind of like muttering to himself a little bit, and before we jump back over to K.A.I and Olafenticulus, Klik and Flute, do you all have anything kind of like last bits as before you're gonna try and rest here that you want to do? Anything you want to accomplish? Anybody you want to talk to?
Can I, during this rest, can I write with the pen and paper, or does that keep me from resting?
Oh no, totally. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I'm kind of viewing this as like going to bed and not yet the rest time. So yeah, you can go for it.
And I'm going to spend the rest in my hammock with just a bunch of parchments, and I'm just kind of writing a bunch.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, you're specifically not sleeping the whole time? You're just trying to...
if I have to choose between sleeping or writing, then I'll write.
Okay, cool.
Probably do both, right?
You know what? Roll a Constitution saving throw for me.
$12.
Great. You failed it, which is good for what you want to accomplish here. So you don't fall asleep, because again, you're on the astral plane where there is no time, and so sleeping is difficult. But to get the mechanics here, I think that this is also a plane of thought. This is also a plane of the mind and not the body. So I'd love to have you roll a performance check here, as I imagine your scripting, your writing is tapping into something that is actually letting you recharge. That might let you, and the DC's 20, but it might let you recharge still and sleep and accomplish this, because we're on another plane where the rules are kind of made up.
I like it. Oh man, I had to roll bad to not hit that DC, and I did roll bad. I got a 17.
Okay, cool. So you do not get the benefits of a long rest, but you, as you can feel it, you can feel yourself tapping into this energy of the plane, and you can almost feel yourself falling asleep the whole time, but you kind of like keep drifting off, and you need to focus and stay with it.
Cool. Can I take a short rest, or do I need to roll?
Yeah, I'll just let you take a short rest, because
Okay, great.
Absolutely. Klik, what about you?
She takes some time before resting to sort of stroll around on the Elvish impersonator. It's like, this isn't, this isn't a ship she cares deeply about, but it was sort of the first time that she felt in control of something that wasn't just like the whole, all of her ancestors being like, you're one of us and can you'd be our queen now. And I think it was sort of a freeing thing to be like she can make a life for herself that isn't just in the clutch and just isn't what she assumed life would be.
You were the captain for a while, and you even saw this military platoon of people who were clearly abled and regimented and a group and someone who was a leader inside of that group. When you were referred to as the captain and the leader, when that was indicated that it was you to him, he immediately didn't do anything. He was just like, yeah, of course, yes, I can tell. And so, and you were pulling the dinger. You were the leader for a little bit, for sure. And,
which, it doesn't mean anything specifically tied to the boat, but it was a meaningful time to be like, I am confident and can drive a ship and can be a captain and lead a squad and scare a bunch of elves off of their stupid little boat.
Yeah.
And
it's a physical manifestation of the fact that you were wrong, that your insecurities about yourself at one point were wrong.
Right.
Yeah. And you have to say goodbye.
And then I think she just walks around the deck and sort of touches the railing and goes below and looks at the basic little garbage helm and walks and jumps the distance between the elvish impersonator and the dinger and just leaves it behind.
Cool. I love it. Like a good
leader. And then she goes up to K.A.I and she's like, hey, should we get that helm? It's probably really valuable, actually. Just leave it in the astral sea, or is there a way that we can snag it? Or
it's a good idea. Let's bring Olafenticulus over there for a little project.
Oh yeah,
it'll be good. We'll do it together.
Oh, that's nice.
Come with us.
Yeah, I mean, Olafenticulus literally physically jumps, which is impressive for this old little dwarf too, up in the air, and he's like, "Oh, yes, he's taking it apart. Yes, we will need someone strong." He says, "As much as magic works, we still need you." He says, just
I'm happy to help.
Quickly, reaching up and grabbing your hand and pulling you, leading you to, and Clang flies up and sits on your shoulder too as he's pulling you along.
Not you, Clang. Just kidding.
Everyone's invited.
Be nice to Clang.
I hate you.
He's never going to be a person again.
He was a person?
Yes.
Clang was.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I talked to you so much. You didn't even mention that you were once a guy?
I barely remember. He barely remembers. I remember you can't talk to him. Yeah, it's don't mess around with polymorph spells. The true polymorph spells, they get weird, he says.
That would happen to you. I'm sorry.
Were you guys friends? Was he a co-worker or
enemy?
No, I just I never knew him before. I just know the signs. He says I can tell.
All right.
I got close myself once.
I've known a couple of dogs
being a bird?
like that.
I was a salamander, but
you were a man once.
I was there for that. I wasn't for that long.
He says, but I felt wanting to be. I saw the salamander life in front of me, and I was ready to walk through that door.
It's a hard life to turn down.
That small,
all the brine
mossy
shrimp you can eat.
Door.
I should have, in retrospect, I should have probably taken that as a sign that you were maybe running from something.
Well, yes, yeah.
When you kept trying to live life as a salamander because it seemed so simple. Let's go get this helm.
Yeah.
And you all have a nice dad moment where the three of you just don't talk
Show us
and you
how to
just
change a
do
tire.
the work of magically lifting, disconnecting, and bringing this huge stone magical chair up and over from the elfish impersonator over to the dinger. And when you set it down kind of in the cargo bay finally of the dinger, you hear Goliath and go, "Oh, not today, buddy," as the magic of the helm already present on the ship overrides the magic of the new helm. And he's like, "Well, little whippersnapper trying to create a gravity plane on my ship." He's just kind of like joking.
Didn't think about that.
He's
Good
just
job.
kind of like joking with you all, and he's quietly flexing that his
You
magic.
make a
Good
good
little
chair.
help now.
It's true.
But you're a better captain.
I know.
Better captain than a chair.
And cool. I would love for K.A.I, Moonboy, and Klik, all three of you, to roll Constitution saving throws.
What?
What?
Terrible.
Is it a magical effect?
Nope.
22.
I'm going to re-roll a saving throw that I fail with Indomitable.
Indomitable.
That's much better.
26.
19.
I love it. The DC is 18, so that's perfect. Moonboy and K.A.I. Moonboy, you have no problem going to sleep. You're a little tuckered out baby boy. Crawling inside your barrel. It's your routine that you need. You've taken a shower. You've done your
No, never.
your facial routine, and you just
Shower. Sand shower.
yeah.
Dust shower, dips his face in soup.
Yeah, the vinegar
Moonboy skin
spritz.
routine.
Vinegar
And-
spritz.
K.A.I, you, I assume, go off into the kitchen, just kind of go into your rhythm of what you need to do to rest.
Yes.
Klik, you
Kinda
as well.
zone
You are able to kind of just go into this flow state that you need to. Neither of you are sleeping, but you all are able to project here. You all are able to convince your bodies that you're resting. And
Maybe just sort of all sit with Oliphanticulus. Just
Yeah.
have a nice sit.
as he's drinking tea, and after you all have done a nice hard work, he's just like falling asleep a little bit at a time and being like, I'm not
Kinda
sleeping.
Chill.
I'm not sleeping.
It's nice. Nice to all be together and without having to say anything.
And
While
I think
they're working, I think I just give them a little bit of private time and wander around the ship a little bit. Like I
love
want to
it.
be part of it, but you know,
yeah, you are, but you know when
Yeah.
to kind of
it's
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
and like as you all are all kind of just like hanging out, eating a little bit too. K.A.I, you're feeding them. Some hover crumpets are zipping around here and there.
Nice.
Oliphanticulus is like, you all remind me of us. The cisterns. That's why I worry so much. Is
The cisterns.
You're adventurers together, the cisterns?
we were solving the problems of the world. That's where the actual problem started. And we called it quits. We walked our separate ways because there was too much because of the same problems I'm hearing from you. Everybody, what did you say before, K.A.I? Everyone wants us to solve our problems right now.
Yeah.
When you have influence, when you have ability, it's a burden. And each of us wanted the world to look a different way, and every wall that is torn down becomes someone saying, look what you let in. And inventing a sturdier rope means you have created chains. So, I wish none of that comes upon you, and I hope that you all agree on what the world should look like all of the time, and that you solve everyone's problems all at once.
We don't want to shape the world, I don't think, but
But you are?
Seems like every powerful entity wants us to do their bidding, and everyone who's not powerful needs our help.
Sounds like being alive to me.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Scale seems pretty big.
Yes, well, that's what happens when you start dealing with portals and planets. You could have just stayed home.
I couldn't, actually. But
Oh, sure. You could have gone cooking in a kitchen or fixing docks somewhere, or even you, Klik. You could have, found a tiny, quiet corner to be unbothered in.
I suppose.
The rider
I'm not
floats
sure
up and is like, "This
not
one
sure
keeps
she could have
threatening to
either."
do it," he says, pointing at you, Flute.
I have a bunch of papers all kind of rolled up, and as I walk in,
what's that?
Seems like he's going to bed.
Well, I was thinking about this place and how time moves, and that old honey moss dwarf in there, so I was thinking I'd write down our story so far and maybe leave it on that other ship here in the Astral Sea. Unless there's any objections.
Bard's gonna bard.
You're just gonna Jean-Michel Basquiat our story? Just leave it on the subway? / shoot it into space? I like it. Why not?
There are worse
Seems
people who can
strange
find
to-
your story than a dead god, says Olfanticulus.
Maybe keep a copy. You never know.
Relic is like, just don't be too honest about me.
oh, I'm like trying to cover that Relic is just mentioned once by name and the entire story.
Don't worry. Don't worry about that at all. Oh, all right, I'd better go put it over there.
I was like, you can add all of the saucy details with me. It's okay. I'm for the truth.
There's a
And I'll arch my eyebrow
Detailed.
and I'll be like,
Are you a couple? Really?
There's a detailed sketch of Olaf of Dingham Nidris as a man.
that's all it
one-
is. There's no words.
Just
One
a detailed.
crucial difference. One embellishment.
Yes, he seems to have added something here.
One detail.
Amazing.
Something, yeah.
Can we call him Dude Tom Nidris in this form?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like him.
I like it. When he likes it too. He's like, yes, dude, Omnidrous. It's like I am a man, but informal.
Indeed.
I like it, he says.
Well.
Cool. All right. And with that, you all kind of like have had your snacks and wander off to bed, and Flute continues to write, and Olaphanticulus falls asleep in his chair, and he does the... And then Clang does the...
Yeah, hilarious.
Thank you.
Classic duo.
These
Yes.
guys.
And so it is written, Jordan says. Yeah.
And so it is written.
The old honk.
This is the way.
The old honk shoe.
And
Honk in those shoes.
we just in from you all, the viewer, you see this ship just sitting in this purple and pink astral sea, floating in the middle here for a very long time as the camera kind of like zooms out, and the ship just sits there and sits there and sits there, and then is totally gone, and they are back on the material plane. And we will
Oh, thank God.
find out where you are and when you are and what you are.
What
next
we
time.
are.
Next time.
Oh, right.
Well, that just
Dun dun
kind of- that's for good.
dun.
Right.
Oh, sure, yeah. That.
Or maybe it means totally fucked. Yeah.
So we're all. You all
Oh, boy.
you entered the fridge plane where everything's fridges.
Oh no!
You think I've forgotten
fridge
Cowboy
plane.
World?
Oh, I would never forget. Trust me, I'm waiting.
This is Cowboy World.
Oh God, we can only
I'm
hope.
just kidding.
Cool. All right. That's it, everybody. That's our episode.
All right, y'all.
That was a good one.
Off.
That was a good one.
It was a good one. A
Off
lot
the
of stuff
astral
in there. A
plane.
lot of
Big
stuff.
deal. Big deal.
Cool. Well,
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. Happy
did it.
Moon Day.
Moon Day.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for kicking it.
Just a reminder
sorry.
that if you are a Patreon member of the $10 tier or up, we do have a after the show podcast, what we have lovingly called Later Than Heroes. I think there's about 10 episodes up there. Once we've started doing it a little ways into Arc 4. And there's a couple of like archives from way back when we started to do it and then didn't do it. So where Ted is hosting, they're very good if you want to dip way back in the archives that we did at the very beginning there. If you want to check those out, you can be a Patreon member. You can also just join at the $5 tier and help us keep the lights on over here. Help us pay for the art and all of the different things that it takes to keep this show running. It really is the reason we've been able to do it, is people like the Repos and Leads folks who have been playing that game over there, the best friends of the channel who we've been running some games for as well, and everyone involved. It's just we literally could not have kept going without you. So thanks for doing it, and thanks for just telling your friends about the show as well.
We love you.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
One
Follow
more
us
shout out to
on
those
thing.
folks, because we talked about it last session, and I just want to say it out loud. The sewage dragon, her name is the Queen of the Waste, and her name is
yes.
K.A.I. Sustain.
Name is non-canonicus.
K.A.I. Sustain.
K.A.I. Sustain. I myself was pronouncing it wrong, and I got
That's
to
a great
introduce
fucking
her.
dragon name.
Yeah, K.A.I.
That's a good
Sustain. She's the Queen of the Waste. She's pissed off. She lives in the toilet dimension. That is a canon thing
She's
about our
pissed
show.
off
There's
and
just a shit-
pissed on. Very
Pissed
good.
upon.
She was tricked.
Yeah, that's why she lives there. Cool. Anybody have anything else before we get out of here?
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Cool. See you next week. Bye.
You got our
Rock over
claws.
London.
What? Show me.
Rock on Chicago.
Stargazer, Moonboy, Klik, the Crusher, K.A.I, Humbly Chef, and the Windrider, Flute, Whimteaser. They're better than he.